Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are back again giving you some more of this high quality goodness, education slash information. Okay, today we are going to be touching on one of the new events that has been out for at least a little bit now, which is going to be the Valentine's Day event. And I wanted to briefly talk about this in comparison with the New Year's event, because these have been two events so far back to back that have been pretty much completely free to play events. And I just wanted to go over the event and then kind of talk about the comparison trends between them and where this could be going based on some things that we've been hearing for what could be coming in the new update. And then I'll actually show you a post as well there on the Discord, I think it was. So let's start off. And we're going to cover, as always, make sure you guys sub, like, ring the notification bell. And of course, if you want to join to be a part of our Discord, you can hit that link, which you can find in the pinned comment description down below. So if we look at the event here for Valentine's Day, right, one of the things that you'll notice is, again, pretty standard 5-day set that we have going across days 1 through 5. Then we get into the kind of 5-day achievement task, right, pretty standard but nice. We're still able to get, if you look at this, right, not only, again, right, healing, right, you're going to be able to get some of the superior, some of the elites, or for the medium chests, right, then you get the basic ops. And then when we go to day 2, right, you're getting, a bunch of the enchant stones. Not really a lot, if you are, kind of getting towards late game. But again, something is better than nothing. The AP is nice, so I definitely enjoy that. And then you get a bunch of philo stones, right, that they're giving you. I think it's 5 here that you're able to get. So some, at least, right, kind of up until day 3. Then we get to the Friendship Witness, right? This is where you're able to kind of use the hearts. You can buy some of these if you want to get the Floor Kiss of Rid Love, right, for some of the avatar frames, or if you want to just have the nice signature background when you post. And then we get to probably the most important part, which is, what are the rewards? And so we look here, and you can see I've already done quite a few of these, where you'll notice that, again, everything here is essentially free to play, right? You can unlock and get all the rewards. Now, what's nice is they did add in some dragon crystals this time. They also added in the philo stones for this event, very similar to what we saw in the New Year's event. Not to be confused with the New Year's Eve event, but just the New Year's event that they had going on for the last seasonal event. And everything was able to be attained there as well. I think there's a good chance that I'm probably, and most people will probably be able to get everything here as long as they complete and do the daily activities. So again, noticing the trend of back-to-back free-to-play events, right? This kind of goes with one of the things I'm going to touch on next. Before we get to the... Well, I guess before we get to potentially to the next part. But let's go with this one, which is going to be showing off something that was posted in the Discord, for the IK Discord, right? And I'm going to show you kind of how this relates. And I'm going to have to scroll up a little bit here, right? So you'll see here, right, that Kiwi, shout out, says, IK for a fact at 1.9, they are addressing some issues so the player base will be happy, right? And then I ended up, I think I ended up asking somewhere down here, wherever that was, right? Yeah, so I said, where did you hear that? It says, I have my sources. I said, and then I said, yeah, I said, will be interesting to read the patch notes when they come. Maybe they will just fly me out there and we can clear this all up in a jiffy, which obviously would be nice. And so Kiwi mentions, the last time my source was right, that's a huge update and player base will like it. He forgot to mention that everything will be pay to win in that update. And so anyways, just interesting to see. Obviously, if this does end up panning out, that, what we're kind of hearing could happen in this upcoming update, right? Again, even if it's just speculation or rumors. I think it's interesting when we see someone say that, and then we look at the other pieces of kind of what the trends are in that we have 2 back-to-back seasonal events where everything is unlockable. There's no pay-to-win walls, right? With the exception of, obviously the other parts that we mentioned, like for this one, it would be the SIGs and the avatar frame, right? Obviously, if you want to work to get those, even though you still might have a chance to get them too as well. I actually have to see, let's see here, what they have for, oops, click on the wrong thing. Right, so we'll have to see if you get the hearts here. I don't think you're going to get those yet. So the hearts here that you're going to be able to get from these ones, or excuse me, not those ones, but the Oh, I guess you can. Excuse me, wow. So you actually will be able to get these two as well. I thought this might have been a different currency for a moment, but it actually is the same. So you'll actually be able to get these, right, if you want to gift them, if you want to request them, so that's nice to know. Though with that being said, right, like we were briefly mentioning before, with the past two events, they have been free to play, right? Because you've been able to get every single reward, right? If you just put in a little bit of work, right? Not too much. And then we look at the comment there from Kiwi saying that someone, the source, so to speak, right, is mentioning that the next update is going to be more of a I don't know if you want to say favor, but maybe a compromise, right, with the player base to kind of address a lot of those things. Now, one of the things I do want to say, and this is actually something that I want to put out there just for full transparency, right? Now, the last update I gave to everyone when we passed along some of our feedback was that we got an acknowledgement from our employee rep, which has only been good to us so far, right, that they did take the information. They did say that their dev team was going to highly consider it. Of course, there was no follow-up, though. And I want to point something out, right? This is not necessarily a deal breaker for me, but what I will say, when it comes to just general, I would say like a professional courtesy, I do appreciate when, if you go through a level of effort that I go through and others do and some others do as well, right, where you're really writing up something that's very well written, you've really considered the pros and cons, you've laid out what the advantages are, the reasons why you are advocating for a suggestion or giving a piece of feedback, right, that you can make the argument, you basically wrote up, something detailed, even made a video on it like I usually do for the feedback and suggestion rounds, and you submit it. And then they tell you, yes, we're gonna take this into consideration. And a lot of the stuff that I sent was what we did publicly, right, with the community, right, for at least those that saw the post, and with us giving multiple friendly reminders as well, kind of over that I think almost a 24-hour period. The appreciation for me would have been, hey, just shoot me a reply, right? And again, this is just kind of where that professional courtesy comes in, right? Is that I would have at least appreciated if they said, hey, you know what? I just wanted to give you an update, 5 or 6 or 7, however many, right? Some of the points that you brought up, these are them, these are the ones that the team is looking at a little bit more. They don't have to necessarily give a confirmation, right, that these things are going to be added, but just to know that, what, these things are there, or even if they came back and they said, hey, we're interested in a few of these things. Would you mind expanding, right, on how you think that would work? What are the reasons why? That level of kind of just that dialogue, that communication, right, would be fantastic. And that's what I would really appreciate, right? And don't get me wrong, it's nice when we see these things added, especially if, they're highly voted, if they're things that you hear from multiple sources, right? Whether it's what you hear on the votes, what you hear from the community, what you hear from content creators, right? There's obviously levels of consistency, right, across different mediums. But it just would be nice for me, and I think not even just for me as well, right? Even though, yeah, it would be for myself. I think just for the community, right? If they came out and they said, okay, hey, right, here's some things that we're looking at right now, and even they could even if you don't want a hard sell on it, you can say, these are 5 or 6 things that the community has put forth that we are considering. We'd love some more additional feedback here, right? Or they could just come out and say, hey, these 7 or 8 things are ones we are highly considering to work in the next update or 2, right? We'll have more announcements later. Again, if you still want to provide some feedback, that's fine, right? You could position it a few different ways, but just kind of giving those updates, right? Having good communication, right? And having good rapport with your community, because you do that, right? You keep people up to date, kind of in the know, so to speak, right? When you're able to. These things I just think are very important, right? Just to building good, sustainable communities that are engaging and then more importantly, stick around and retain, right, as a player base. Anyways, with that being said, that is pretty much it for me. Those are my thoughts on the event. I'm definitely happy that we're getting back-to-back events, but I think part of the reason why is because of the community outreach, which again, we could make the argument, yeah, that's been a great thing. And that could be a big reason why we're seeing these back-to-back completely free-to-play reward-based events, right? Because we've never had that before, right? We've never had a back-to-back event where every reward was able to be attained by everyone, right, in a free-to-play way. So I think that's part of it. When we look at the message there from Kiwi, I think that's another factor. I think the fact that there has been overwhelming support from a lot of areas on how the majority of, or I don't know if I say the majority, but a good portion of the community for the ones that are public, and I could say that the majority of the people who have been outspoken, right, have been in favor of wanting to see some changes and wanting to see something a little bit more in line, right, with really where the game has been going. So I think 1.9, don't get me wrong, right, 1.8 to me, it is still rough, right, because it does feel like part of the community is a little broken on how they feel, and I'd be lying to anyone if I said I don't feel the same way. I even feel a little bit broken too as well, just because of how well the game was going. Sure, I do think they just needed to really look at and still do more quality of life improvements, right? Ones that we've submitted, I think a few others that some have too, but right, there needs to be, one of the things I always talk about, there needs to be some level of oversight. Right, we don't want to kind of run into the situation where we're like yes-manning everything, but looking at people who have a track record, right, of one, submitting really good quality feedback, right, that's well thought out, right, that isn't just kind of one-liners, right, even though you can take one-liners and expand on those, right, to turn them into quality pieces of feedback. I just think it's important that, again, the challenge with IK is that the ceiling still is so high. They have a lot of potential. But 1.8, I think, really set them back, right? It's like they took a few steps forward. 1.8 came out, and they literally took all those steps back and then some. So hopefully 1.9 will be an attempt at redemption, and then we'll have to try and see, maybe what 2.0, will be if it goes there or if it goes to 1.10. I don't know if they can do that. I mean, I guess they could just make up whatever numbers they want. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see where things go. I'd love to hear all your comments, though, right? What do you think about the two back-to-back events that we've got so far that have been completely free-to-play reward-based, right? Do you think the rewards that they've been giving in the Valentine's Day event are enough? Do you think they could be a little bit more? What do you think about the trends right there from what we're hearing about what 1.9 could be, the direction that they've gone with for the last two seasonal events that maybe leans a little bit into that rumor kind of narrative that could happen, right? Let me know anything and everything you guys are thinking in those comments down below. That's it from me. Until next time, we'll catch you later.